Today lab will go for how to set up iSCSI storage box by using Openfiler software. So we have the one type of the storage called as a iSCSI. So iSCSI stands for the Internet, and SCSI stands for the Small Computer System Interface. So we require a separate storage is called as the iSCSI. So Internet SCSI means we have some IP address will be there. So by using this IP address we can able to access this storage box from the multiple systems. See, why do you require iSCSI, or we can call it as the remote shared storage box of the device? In this I'm explaining one scenario. There is one concept name is like a cluster. The clustering nothing but a group of the servers called as a cluster. So by using the clustering, what exactly we can do means we can provide the load balancing, and we can able to provide a failover. For example, the system 1 is running the web server, some application. If the system 1 is failure, even the web server application also, the web page also, we are not able to access it. To overcome this single point of failures, now what you can do is I have the system 1 and the system 2. So the system 1 and the system 2 are configured as a clustering. Suppose if the system 1 is failure, even though the application will be running by the system 2 with help of the clustering concept. Suppose the system 1 is failure, by the system 2, if you want to run this web server application now, if you are storing the data into the local hard disk, this web server data into storing in the local hard disk, if the system 1 is failure, this data is not able to access by the system 2. Therefore now, this web server application, it must be stored in the remote storage, not in the local storage. If it is available in the remote storage, so this application must store, the remote storage should access by the system 1 and the system 2, and if the application must store in the remote storage. Now even this case scenario, even the system 1 is failure also, by the system 2 we can able to run this application without any downtime, because the reason the remote storage can be accessed by the system 1 or a system 2. Even it is failure, we can able to access this files from the system 2 also. So when we want to maintain the clustering and to provide the zero downtime, we must ensure to require the remote storage. So in the remote storage devices, generally one type of the remote storage devices for the VMWARE, one is called like a NAS box, NAS, or we can call it as a NFS, network attached storage, or network file system. And the second one is called as the iSCSI, Internet SCSI, and the third one FC, fiber channel. So the NAS box, you can say little bit cost will be less. So we can easily implement this NAS box. And if you want to go for like a iSCSI storage devices, is very expensive. And compared to iSCSI, again if you go for the fiber channel, it is very expensive. But the speed of the communication, the data transfer rate in the NAS device will be slow, and it is a medium, it is very high speed. So the most of the companies, they prefer for the storage box means iSCSI storage box. The people who are working on the SAN storage area network, they have to work on the iSCSI devices only. So now, if you want to configure the high availability, or if you want to perform the HA options or fault tolerance, and if you want to provide the live migration of the virtual machines, we require the remote storage devices only. So the remote storage devices, one of the way we can able to configure by using NFS, and the second way we can able to configure by using the iSCSI. But if you want to buy the iSCSI devices means it's very expensive. So now we'll go for how to set up a iSCSI storage box as a virtually. Physically iSCSI boxes will be there and they're very expensive. So for the small companies, for the medium companies, so they can go for the iSCSI storage boxes only. I'm explaining how to prepare a iSCSI. I'm preparing as a iSCSI storage box. So by using a normal system. So just I took the one PC, and in this I have the two hard disks. Hard disk one is 1 TB size. Again the second hard disk also is 1 TB size. So now I'm preparing this system as a my iSCSI storage box. Because I don't have the physical storage box, I'm configuring as my system as a storage box only. So to set up this way, so step 1, first of all the pre-requirement, we require like a 2 hard disk or maybe 1 hard disk also is okay. But in the real time point of view, they will go for 2 or more hard disks because they require more storage. So now here, the step 1, so install Openfiler operating system. There is one software name is operating system is available. This is called as the Openfiler. If you don't have the Openfiler, download Openfiler image, Openfiler image from the internet, and you can burn on the DVD and boot from the Openfiler DVD or CD and install it. The way of the installation is very similar to how to install the Linux software. And next step, the step 2, the configure the IP address. The IP address configuration, while installation of the OS itself only, we can configure the IP address, or if we didn't configure the IP address, manually we can configure the IP address, and better if you have the little bit idea about the commands of the Linux. And the step 3, so this hard disk are available. Now this hard disk, we have to create some partitions. This step 3, create partitions, and those partitions we have to make it as a physical volumes, and these physical volumes we have to make it as a group, and this group name is called as a volume group, and this volume group we can divide as a small partitions. These we can call as a logical volumes. So first of all we have the hard disk, and those hard disks create as a partitions. Step 1, and those partitions convert as a physical volumes, and after converting as physical volumes create the volume groups. Then these volume groups we can divide as a small partitions, those we can call as a logical volumes. So first of all we'll go for the step 1, how to install Openfiler operating system. So here I'm going to use my VMware workstation. So I'm not installing on my physical machine. So I'm explaining how to create a Openfiler iSCSI storage box by using my VMware workstation software. So go to the file menu, click on new virtual machine and go for typical. So I have the ISO image. So select installer disk image file, click on browse. So in my E drive, I have the folder name ISO files. So I have the ISO image, and even this size you can say, if you don't have this image, the size of the image you can see is very less size only, almost some 250 MB. So 500 MB is there. So it is open and next. But here manually we have to select the operating system type. So select Linux and we got Ubuntu. Here you can select the operating system. CentOS. Select the OS. CentOS 64-bit and go for next. So if you want to put the same name, you can continue the same name, or I'm giving the name as a, and for easy recognition point of view, Openfiler sandbox and go for next. So just only for operating system, I'm using the default size, you can say 20 GB and go for next. So it requires the 1 GB of RAM and finish. So the installation is very similar to just one second. So the way of the installation is very similar to how to install the Linux operating system. So press enter to boot. And go for next. So select the language, use English. So yes. So don't modify any default settings here. Click on next. So all the data will be erased. See, if the hard disk is the new hard disk, it's going to erase the data also. Or if any data is there, it will erase the data and say yes. And if you want to configure the IP address settings, we can configure the IP address settings now, and we can set the host name also. But here I'm not using the manual IP address settings because I have the DHCP server. Because the VMware workstation software is by default act as your DHCP server. So go for next. So the time zone. So Asia Calcutta plus 5:30 time zone and say next. So the root password. So here I'm providing as a some 7 characters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Confirm the password. Click on next and click next. So I'll pause the video. It will take just only 1 or 2 minutes time only. So once the installation is completed, click on reboot. So after rebooting, see we got this the way web administration GUI HTTPS 192.168. So IP address 138.142, and this IP address generated by DHCP server and colon 446. So why does it require this IP address and port number? We'll go for in the next tool. So after installation, we can do one more step now. So step 1 up to now we have seen like how to install the Openfiler, and then step 2, add the 1 or 2 hard disk in the Openfiler system. So to add the hard disk in the Openfiler, the people who are working in the VMware workstation, I'll show this option. We have the Openfiler system is there. So just right click on the Openfiler system and go for the settings. So we have the hard disk, only one hard disk is available, is 20 GB. So in this hard disk already we installed the Openfiler operating system. Now click on add. So add the hard disk, add, create a new virtual hard disk, some SCSI. So I'm providing the hard disk size some 100 GB. Say next, finish. And if you require the more hard disk also in the same process, we can add the multiple hard disk. So okay. But after adding the hard disk in the Openfiler, it will not detect automatically. Once after adding the hard disk, better thing, reboot the computer. Here I am typing the username as a root and the password at the time of installation are given as a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I got a prompt. So use the command name, just say reboot. See, after rebooting, so type the username as a root and type the password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. But it will not display the password here. So here after login, so the first command I'm using just to clear the screen. Clear. So here I'm using some commands now. fdisk space -l, fdisk space -l. So fdisk space -l, and this is the command. To find out how many hard disks are available and what are the hard disk sizes are available, we can go for some command name is the fdisk space -l. Say enter. So here we can find out some differences here. So when you use the command name fdisk space -l, is the command name. See here you can say /disk /dev SDA. So SDA. So SDA means, see, /dev means the devices, SD means is SATA disk, and A means is the first hard disk. So this is size of the hard disk is the 21.5 GB is available. And these are the partitions in the hard disk: SDA1, SDA2, SDA3. These are the partitions. See now here I have the one more second hard disk is available, and this is a hard disk size. The second hard disk means SDB is the second hard disk. If a third hard disk is there, it displays a SDC. So the size of the hard disk, you can say 100 GB is there. And here we got some point is there /dev SDB does not contain valid partition table. This meaning indicates there are no partitions in the second hard disk. So now what the next step? So we added the second hard disk. The next step, create partitions now. Create partition. So now to create a partitions in the second hard disk, what you can do now? To create a partition now, type the command fdisk /dev slash SDB because we are planning to create the partitions in the second hard disk fdisk and slash dev SDB. This is second hard disk. Enter. So here we get the command M for help, say M, enter. So they regard some options are available, and for this lab we require the options. So here you can see this one. We got the options here. N is equal to add a new partition, and D is equal to delete the partition, and P is equal to print a partition table, and W means write and exit. So here we got options are available. So W and P and N and D like this. But now to create the partitions now, N is equal to add a new partition. So type N. So the type of partition, here you can go for the primary partition only, because the primary means the first partition is called as a primary. So now select the P. That means here you can type it as a P here. Type P and press enter. P and press enter. So the partition number default you can say 1 will be there, and press enter here. So just you can say press enter. See the first cylinder size, the Linux operating system, the hard disk will take it in the form of the cylinder size. The first sector size or the first cylinder size, just you can make it default and press enter here. And the last sector also, and if you want to specify the size, you can specify the sizes, but in this we don't require to specify the sizes because the entire 100 GB I want to make it a single volume. So here also press enter here. So now say type P, print a partition table. So now here you got slash dev SDB1. It become as a completely 100 GB one partition now. After creating the partition, say W. So type W. So after creating the partitions now, use some command name part pro slash dev STP. So this command updating the kernel without restarting. Say clear. So after creating the partition, the next step, create physical volume. To create a physical volume, the command name pv create physical volume, the partition name slash dev SDB1. So the physical volume successfully created. The next step, VZ create space. Example, I'm given the name as a volume group name as a SAN. Now in this volume group, I'm adding the physical volume SDB1. So it's created now. So here itself only we can create the logical volume, or we can create a logical volume from the graphical mode. So I will show that one from the graphical mode, how to create the logical volumes. So now better to reboot once. See, to configure the rest of the process, now take the one of the Windows machine. So I have the Windows PC. I'm going to command prompt. Say ipconfig. Its IP address is 192.168.138.135, and your Openfiler IP address is 142. So ping 192.168.138.142. So first of all, your Openfiler system and your Windows PC should be in the network. So right now they're in the network now. So close it. Open the web browser, maybe Mozilla Firefox or Internet Explorer. So here is given address https colon and IP address of the Openfiler and port number 446. So in the browser you can type it https colon //192.168.138.142. This is the IP address of Openfiler colon 446. Here is given the port number. Enter. So continue to this website. Click here. So we got this screen is available for the Openfiler. So the default username is the Openfiler. And the password is password. PASSWORD. So click on login. So this is the actual screen you will get. So the next step. So we got the status and the systems, volumes and cluster. So now here we can go for the volumes. So in the volumes, see already we have created a volume group as a SAN. We got the SAN. Now click on add volumes. Scroll down, just come down here. See here we can create a logical volumes here. Example, I'll create as a name SAN1, and description if we require we can provide direct. And here you can go for the size up to 50 GB. I'll create one data store, and the file system or the volume type. Click here, select black or iSCSI or fiber channel, etc. So click on create. The total is available 100 GB. So again scroll down. So one volume is created as a 50 GB, 500 GB, sorry, 50 GB. Now in the same process way, click on the volume tab. So click on add volumes. So I'm creating this one more volume as a SAN2. The rest of the space I'm assigning for the volume 2. Select block device. Click on create. So the volumes are created now. The next step, click on the systems. So the host name is a localhost.local domain is default. If you want to change the name, you can change the name also. So just come down. Network access configuration is there. Here the name, example I'm providing as a mySAN. So the network. So your IP address is the 192.168.138.0 is your network number. .0, and your subnet mask value is the 255.255.255.0. So click on update. Now the next step, click on the services tab. So by using the Openfiler, we can able to configure all these services now. But now you are planning to go for iSCSI target only. So select the iSCSI target. So there are two things are available: iSCSI initiator and iSCSI target. So don't go for the iSCSI initiator. So select the iSCSI target. So click on enable. So click start. After this one, click on the volumes. So here we got some option name iSCSI targets. So click on iSCSI targets. So we got a target configuration, LAN mapping. So click add iSCSI target add. So click on LAN logical unit number, LAN mapping. Just scroll down. So there are two LANs are available. One LAN as a SAN1 and the second LAN is a SAN2. So now click on map. Again the second one also map the LAN mapping. So there is a network ACL is available. Click on network ACL. So by default network ACL will be denied. So click on allow. So click on update. So now your iSCSI box is ready. So the next step, how to add this iSCSI devices to your ESS host. Power on your ESS host now. So it is the IP address of the ESS host. It is a 192.168.138.100. Now Now go to vSphere client. So type the IP address of the ESS host and username, the root, and the password of the ESS host. Or if you are directly vCenter server is there, and connect to the vCenter server. Click on ignore. Click OK. So this is your ESS host now. In the ESS host, select ESS host now. Go for the configuration. For checking, so click on the storage. So here some of the storages are available, but these storages right now is not mounted. Only local storage is available. And if you're planning to add other storages now, so add storage means we can able to add the disk by LUN or NFS. So iSCSI we can able to add it. But before adding the iSCSI, we have to add the one more step. So select the host, click on configuration, storage adapters. So click on the storage adapters. So right now these are the adapters are available. So just come down, scroll it. So on the top you can see this one, add. Click on add software iSCSI adapter. Select this radio button, click OK. Click OK. So now we got a software iSCSI adapter. So select VMWARE virtual machine. HBA means hardware bus adapter. So click on properties. So we have the tabs: general, network configuration, dynamic discovery, static discovery. So by default the network adapter, the iSCSI software adapter is enabled. So click on network configuration, add. So this is your management network. So click on OK. Now click on dynamic configuration, click add. Here you can type the IP address of your Openfiler IP address. So the Openfiler server IP address is the 192.168.138.142. So 192.168.138.142. So the default port number 3260. So don't change it. So it is okay. So it's added now. So click on close. So click yes. So just you can see this one. So the connected devices target you can say 1, devices 2. The pin 2 LANs we added. So now click on the storage. Click on add storage. So select disk by LAN. Next, see we got the one LAN mapping. the 48.94 GB. Next, the type of the file system VMFS5. Next. So I'm selecting this one and click next. So data store name, example, my SAN. It's not a case sensitive. You can provide any name also. My SAN 1. Next, and you want to customize the space, the entire 48 GB. You want to use like a one data store. We can use the maximum available space. Or you want to reduce it, we can do it. And click on finish. Now in the same process, click on add storage and this file LAN, the second LAN, VMFS5, my SAN2, and go for next, click finish. So the next time onwards, we're trying to create a VM. So right click on the host name and go for new virtual machine. So example, so Windows 2008. So example, the name. So 2007, this meaning 2008 operating system and extend 2007 is the installed application. So now this virtual machine I'm saving in the MySAN1. So which OS required? Example 2008 network cards and the size and finish. So the same process you can repeat for the your ESS host 2 also. For the host 2 also, first of all add the software adapter and go for the software adapter and go to properties, go for network configuration, and then in dynamic discovery add the IP address of the your iSCSI Openfiler server IP address. So in this way, without having the iSCSI storage box, physical storage box, we can able to configure iSCSI storage devices by using the Openfiler.